So, Wendy Williams' ex-husband, Kevin Hunter, has been doing a lot of talking lately. He's been going on an interview tour. He's been doing all kinds of interviews. He's been saying a lot regarding Wendy, regarding his what happened with them, and the show. You know what happened with the show, because we all know he was one of the producers or whatever he was on the Wendy Williams show. And two things I want to talk about in this video. The first one I want to talk about is he did an interview with Choke No Joke. And he says in this interview that Charlamagne the God, introduced him to Sharina, the woman he is currently with now, that he cheated on Wendy with for years. And this is what this woman having a baby by Kevin, it eventually just broke Wendy, and she just hasn't been the same ever since. So he does an interview, and I'm going to just read some of what he said in it. So he says that Sharina is from the same South Carolina town as Charlamagne. And we know this already. We know that Charlamagne knew Sharina, and this is how Kevin met Sharina. Charlamagne is not the reason for Kevin cheating on his wife, stepping out on his marriage, and having a mistress for many years. It's not Charlamagne. He's not the reason why. But Kevin says that he introduced me to her, meaning Charlamagne introduced him to her, right? And to Sharina. And he said that he went on to question Charlamagne's handling of the fallout and said, was it cool that you got on the air and made a mockery of the whole thing when you were part of it and you knew the family structure that was being instituted? And you know what? Regardless of my own actions, there's a certain code amongst men. So this is what he said in this interview, trying to just put all blame on Charlamagne. Now, did Charlamagne know they were dating, that he was cheating on Wendy with this woman? Probably. But he's not the reason why Kevin cheated on his wife. And this is a photo from when Charlamagne did know her. I guess when, he was coming up, he was on Wendy's show, working with Wendy. And okay, yeah, he did know her. Now, Kevin, that was your fault for cheating on your wife with this woman, not Charlamagne's. But he wants to put blame on everyone but himself. He wants to just point the blame on everyone but himself. And it's ridiculous. He's taking no ownership as to what he did. Even though he's out here doing interviews and he's giving excuses as to why he did this and as to why he did that. He had a mistress for years, and he ended up having a baby with this woman. This woman was living off of Wendy's money and fame, and she's hidden in a corner somewhere while Wendy's making all of the money for her to live this mistress life, going on trips, doing all types of things. I mean, Charlamagne is not to blame for what he did. Now, he is the reason why Kevin was able to meet Sharina. But how many other people or females has Kevin met through other people? Being in the business period, you're gonna meet people. That doesn't give you an excuse to take one of the women, start dating them, cheating on your wife with them. That's not what that means. Business is business. This is someone Charlamagne knew. And even Wendy has said plenty of times before, Charlamagne lived with them at a point in time. He lived with Wendy and Kevin. So this is all info that we knew. This is not something that we're just finding out. But he just wants to point the blame, and he's saying that Charlamagne was making a mockery. What I do remember Charlamagne doing was getting very upset when Kevin's name would be mentioned on the show. I mean, he would go off the rails when they would mention Kevin Hunter's name on the show. So, Kevin, that's no excuse. That's no excuse. But what he also did an interview. The Jasmine brand reported this story, and they're saying that Kevin Hunter claims the producers of his ex-wife's former talk show refused to sign off on anything to help with her drug addiction. So I did pull that up and the actual article. I'm just going to read what it says, some of it. And he's accusing the producers of the Wendy Williams show of refusing to sign off on getting Wendy Williams help to recover from her addiction issues. He claimed that Debmar Mercury didn't want to involve themselves in anything that would take Williams away from hosting her talk show. He said Debmar would not support Wendy's recovery efforts with the family. They would not sign off on anything that would have helped her recovery efforts. They sat in a meeting with her whole family, including her now deceased mom, and would not sign off on the recovery efforts that would have helped Wendy also get well and live and be sober. They basically said, if you don't stop drinking, you're going to lose the show. And he said his ex-wife's show ended due to the negligence of the production company when it came to making sure she was healthy before appearing on air. He also said the show ended because of the negligence of her production company in regards to realizing how severe her health was. And when you're in a situation where when you're just busy trying to divide and conquer and remove something instead of focusing on what's really going on. And he's like, I mean, everyone unfortunately got a chance to see her pass out on national television, and it was mortifying. And you would think that after that happened, they would have put certain things in place in some sort of department to deal with any kind of crisis or any kind of help she may really need. During her alleged addiction battle, Wendy checked herself into a sober residence. A source connected with the Wendy Williams show admitted that Williams wasn't fully herself upon departing the facility. The source said, it's safe to say that when she came out of the sober house before she divorced Kevin, that she still wasn't capable of making all the decisions. She wasn't capable then, but she wasn't hiding it. And it's more to this. If you would like to read the rest, the Jasmine brand has this full story, but I just wanted to read this brief of it, this part of it. And he could be right when it comes to that, but this is once again just blaming everyone. He was her husband. And you know what else also played a part in her having an issue with alcohol or with substance abuse or whatever it was? The fact that her husband was cheating on her and had a mistress that she knew he was going to see and would not leave alone. That played a big part in it also, Kevin. A very big part. So all of this stuff all ties down to what you did in your marriage for years. Had you and Wendy been living a great life, her with her show, you guys being married with your son, being a real married couple with no infidelity, then maybe she could have kicked her habit. But habits are hard to break when you're broken inside, because the person you've been with for over 20 years has this woman that he will not leave alone. So it's just interesting that he's coming out just blaming the show. And I'm not saying that the show was right. They played a part as well, if that's the case. They needed Wendy to make money. And we see the way that they're handling Wendy now with the way they're just booted her from the show and bringing Sherry Shepherd in as if she's the perfect replacement. It's all about money. But being that he was her family, he should have been able to help her and not leave her out there to dry and just make her worse off than she was. So he's just doing a lot of talking, and he's still pointing the blame on everyone but himself. Okay? I'm pretty sure he'll have more to say. And when he does, I'll report on it. I'll keep an eye out to see if there are any updates. But in the meantime, if Wendy does come out with her podcast, I'm going to be listening. And I'm pretty sure by the time it launches, he'll have something else to say about that too. And her brother Tommy's talking a lot as well. I may do a video about that because he's been doing a lot of talking also. So guys, thank you for watching. Please like this video. Please subscribe to my channel. Leave a comment. Let me know what you think about Kevin and him pointing the finger at everyone else but himself when it comes to Wendy and everything that's been happening to her since the divorce, since he's just been with this other woman. Okay? Let me know what you think. Thank you. I'll until the next video. I'll talk to you guys again soon.